Ken Caryl is one of those communities that people tend to feel strongly about once they experience it. Because for the right person, the lifestyle here can feel incredible. You've got the trails, the foothills access, the quieter pace, the community feel. It's exactly what a lot of people picture when they think about moving to Colorado. But Ken Caryl also has a very specific rhythm to daily life. And understanding that up front is what helps people decide whether it truly fits the lifestyle that they want. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know I've been breaking down different West Denver communities to help relocating buyers understand how these areas actually function once you live there. And Ken Caryl can be a little confusing when you first start researching it. You'll often see a Littleton mailing address. So naturally, a lot of relocating buyers ask, wait, is Ken Caryl actually in Littleton? And the answer is not exactly. Now, Ken Caryl Ranch is an unincorporated community in Jefferson County. It uses a Littleton mailing address in many places, but it does not feel like living in downtown Littleton or Old Town Littleton. And that distinction matters because Littleton has more of a traditional town feel in certain areas, while Ken Caryl feels more like a connected foothills community built around trails, open space, amenities, and neighborhood lifestyle. So if you're comparing Ken Caryl to Littleton, don't just compare the address. Compare how the lifestyle actually functions day to day. And if you're relocating here, you'll probably notice pretty quickly that people pronounce Ken Caryl a few different ways. Ken Caryl, Ken Carl, but most locals tend to say Ken Caryl. And there's a reason that Ken Caryl is such a highly desirable area for a lot of relocating buyers. Because it offers something that's actually pretty hard to find in Denver Metro. You get foothills access, open space, trails, and a quieter environment, but you still have strong access to everyday conveniences and the rest of the metro area. So for people looking for that balance between outdoor lifestyle and day-to-day functionality, Ken Caryl tends to stand out pretty quickly. And honestly, a lot of people moving to Colorado are searching for exactly this kind of lifestyle. They just don't always know that Ken Caryl exists just yet. So let's start with what actually pulls people in first, the setting. Because Ken Caryl has a very connected foothills feel. You are surrounded by open space, red rock scenery, mature landscaping, and immediate access to trails and outdoor recreation. And because so much of the community connects directly into that landscape, nature feels built into everyday life. It's not unusual to see deer walking through neighborhoods or maybe even across someone's front lawn in the morning or at dusk. And for some people, that slower, more connected atmosphere is exactly why they move here. But what really makes Ken Caryl different is that the outdoor lifestyle isn't just nearby, it's integrated into the community itself. In many parts of Ken Caryl, you have access to private community trails, parks, open space, and amenities that are woven directly into the neighborhood. So instead of feeling like you have to go somewhere to enjoy the outdoors, it's already part of your routine. You can go for a walk after dinner. You can hop on a trail in the morning. You can ride your bike without loading everything into the car first. And for a lot of people, that completely changes how often they actually use the outdoors. Then you layer in the amenities. You've got pools, tennis courts, parks, and community spaces. And because of the structure of the community, Ken Caryl tends to feel very cohesive and maintained. There's a consistency to daily life here that a lot of buyers really appreciate. And this is where Ken Caryl starts to feel very different. It feels different from a lot of other West Denver communities. It's not really built around tourism, nightlife, or constant activity. It's built around routine, outdoor access, and a quieter pace of life. So, what does a typical weekend actually look like here? Well, for a lot of people in Ken Caryl, weekends are less about heading into the city. They're more about staying connected to the community area itself. Morning walks on the trails, bike rides, pickleball or tennis, coffee outside, heading into the foothills, meeting friends nearby. There's a calmer rhythm to it. And for people who enjoy outdoor routines and a more grounded pace of life, that can feel really appealing. Now, another thing relocating buyers don't always realize is that Ken Caryl doesn't feel exactly the same throughout the community. Now, areas like North Ranch, they tend to feel more integrated into the foothills themselves, with larger lots, more custom homes, mature landscaping, and a stronger connection to the terrain and the open space. You'll notice winding streets, elevated views, and homes that feel more tucked into the landscape. Now, other parts of Ken Caryl feel more neighborhood-oriented, with easier access to shopping amenities and everyday conveniences while still keeping that foothills connected atmosphere. So, depending on where you are, the lifestyle can feel a little different. And nearby, you also have newer build communities. And those communities appeal to buyers looking for more modern floor plans, updated interiors, and lower maintenance living, while still staying close to the Ken Caryl lifestyle and foothills access. So part of finding the right fit here is understanding which version of the lifestyle actually matches what you want day to day. And when it comes to everyday convenience, Ken Caryl actually functions really well. You've got easy access to grocery stores, shopping, fitness, and everyday services. So errands and day-to-day life generally feel pretty simple. Where some buyers notice the difference is restaurants and the entertainment. Now, there are good options nearby, but it's not the kind of place where you're casually walking to multiple restaurants, coffee shops, or nightlife spots. Usually, you're hopping in the car just for a short drive. And for a lot of people, that trade-off is completely worth it. Because what they're prioritizing is the quieter environment, the outdoor access, and overall pace of life. And one thing that really helps Ken Caryl function well is access to C470. Because even though the community feels quieter, more foothills oriented, and a little more removed from the busier parts of Denver, you're still very connected. C470 makes it easier to get into Littleton, go towards DTC, Red Rocks, the mountains, or other parts of the Southwest metro area. So you get a little bit more breathing room without feeling completely disconnected. And what I found is that people who really love Ken Caryl usually aren't looking for constant activity or a highly urban environment. They're looking for an area with more breathing room, outdoor access that is woven into everyday life, a connected community feel, and a lifestyle that feels calmer and more intentional. So when people ask me whether Ken Caryl is a good place to live, I really think the better question is, what kind of lifestyle do you actually want day to day? Because Ken Caryl isn't really about being close to everything. It's about being close to the things you use most: the trails, the open space, outdoor routines, a cohesive neighborhood environment, and a lifestyle that feels more connected to the foothills than a lot of other parts of the Denver metro. And if you're trying to compare foothills communities, make sure you watch my Golden versus Littleton video next, because those areas feel very different from Ken Caryl, and that comparison may help you narrow things down even further. Until then, remember, life is short, live somewhere awesome, and be well. We'll see you next time.